Hello, 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 and welcome. Happy Monday, everyone. It is Monday on August 4th. Super excited to be here with you. You just caught me trying to connect with the show, so I'm going to put that on pause for just a second, just so you can have my undivided attention, and then I'll go back to that in just a minute. If you are with us and curious to know what you're watching, who I am, you are currently watching Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. I am the founder of Holistic Fitness and Why, your certified holistic personal trainer, Reiki master, medical astrologer, master of numerology, card creator, card reader, and also the founder of Holistic Healing Magazine. And I serve, help, and transform in addition to holding space for women over 40, helping them to release emotional weight without dieting and holding that space for them so they can become courageous and confident to step away from their job and step into their soul's calling. So there you have it. Now you know who I am. I'm going to ask that you all take a minute just to go ahead and share out the show, which is what I was trying to do before you caught me. Now we're going to do it together. Let's see if we can do this together. I always seem to have difficulties. Maybe it will work today. Who knows? I don't want to spend too much time. There we go. Found it. Of course, I had to go and lose it. That's so funny. Anyway, I am here and I'm hoping that you are too. There we go. I'm going to share it out. Share it out to all my groups. I'm hoping that you're going to do it too. I don't know. I just got a white wall. So bear with me a minute. Sharing, 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 as we say, is caring. And there we have it. I'm hoping that you share it out too. All right. If you are here with me, say hi. Let me know that you are here. Today we have a hot topic. The topic is, but before I dive into the topic, I want to just give a shout out to my partner in crime that helps keep this show going, which is Tammy Moses. She is she's the founder at the Hoarding Solution and also the chief encouragement officer at Homes Are for Living LLC. If you have not had a chance to connect with her and learn all about what she does and how she can serve you and help you not just declutter your space, but also really get to the nitty gritty, right down to the deep part of it. If it happens to be that you are someone who hoards, and hoarding is when you collect things and it becomes overwhelming and you just need to literally move things around. Like right now, if you were to see my table that I'm sitting at, it would definitely look like I have a hoarding situation. I would actually have to move something off a chair to let someone sit down. But I do have other chairs to overcome that. Anyway, super excited to be here, and I do want to dive in to our topic. Hopefully, you had a chance to see our last episode, which was last month. It was a real good one. It was menopause and the moon. So if you did not get a chance to catch it live, know that you can always go and watch it on the replay. You can watch it right here on Strong Island Television, YouTube. You can also watch it on Roku, Amazon Fire TV, Twitch TV. And if you prefer to listen versus watch, you can listen to it on iHeartRadio, Audible, Spotify, and that's just to name a few of them. Anyway, we're going to dive into some of this energy we have going on right now because there is a lot happening this week. It's a very powerful week. We've literally been leading up to this energy of this week. We are in the 8th month, which is August, and this is the month that's known as the Lion's Gate energy. And theoretically, I probably could have talked about that and have that as our whole show, but we're going to sort of blend that into the conversation. As we start this week, it is the 4th of August. In just a few days, we will experience the 8-8 energy, and that is really where the portal is open, helping us to work on releasing fears, which is what we're going to be speaking about in general today, and a whole lot more. So the most important thing you want to pay attention to, specifically this week, is what are you thinking about? What are you focused on? If you are focused on worry, doubt, insecurities, lack of limitations, then that's what's going to be magnifying. So you really want to pay attention and pay attention to what it is you are thinking about, because you don't want to magnify the lower frequency energy, because that's what the lion gate's going to help you bring more of. So you really want to keep your thoughts in that high frequency and see yourself in abundance and see yourself trusting the process of where you are right now, and know that once you trust the process of where you are, everything begins to flow. It's really that simple. In addition to the Lion's Gate, which takes place on the 8/8, obviously, on August 9th, following the day after, we have this amazing full moon. Now, I myself am truly going to feel this full moon as it is in Aquarius. My moon, I'm very territorial about my moon. When we talk about the full moon energy, full moon, again, another portal to help us let go of things. Now, when the moon is in Aquarius, Aquarius is about the bigger vision. And I get the feeling that many of us aren't dreaming as big as we can. And we need to start dreaming bigger, because we are here to be creative. We are here to be bold. We are here to be courageous. And we are here to step into those bigger dreams. So this is your opportunity to really work on seeing the bigger picture through the Aquarian energy. This is the perfect time to connect with community, collaborate, and invent whatever it is you want to invent in this moon's energy. Also want to bring to your attention, probably something I should have said before, the Lion's Gate energy. On August 6th, which is 2 days away from today, we have Mars, which is the planet of action. It's fire, it's leadership, it's bold, moving out of Virgo and getting ready to move into Libra. Libra is more about balance and justifying where we need more balance. Now, we will experience some interesting energy with Mars as it moves into Libra, because we do have both Saturn and Neptune in Aries, and Aries and Libra are opposition of each other. So we will experience an opposition with those three energies. And Neptune is about your spiritual evolution. Saturn is about reshaping you, restructuring you, so you can be more in your hierarchy and living from your higher consciousness. We will also experience what's known as a trine, and the trine just means a triangle, because we will have Mars trining, because it's in Libra air, trining Pluto and Uranus, because Pluto is in Aquarius and Uranus is in Gemini. And both Pluto and Uranus are your planets that sit further out, but those are two planets that do some serious demolition. Pluto is known for transformations, destroying things that no longer serve you, and Uranus is about disrupting what no longer serves you. So just think about that. When we have Mars going to sit in Libra, how to justify bringing more balance into our lives, and that trine between Pluto and Uranus, what is being destroyed and how things are getting disrupted. So I want you to pay attention to that. And then if that's not enough energy, we also have on August 11th, Mercury getting ready to go direct. Now, Mercury's been in retrograde in Leo, and Mercury's actually been in Leo for almost 83 days. Now, when Mercury spends that much time in a zodiac sign, that means there's real big business coming in. Mercury is about your experience, it's how you communicate, and it's how you learn. And traveling between worlds, so to speak. Mercury is also very much associated with cars. So I'm kind of curious to know if you've been having any challenges with your automobile. So when we think about Mercury going direct in Leo, as of September 2nd, Mercury will move out of Leo and move into Virgo. And we'll talk about that when that happens. So I just want you to really digest all of what I just said about where everything's going how from the 6th right through the 11th, we have a lot of energy taking place, and that we will have this opposition between Aries and Libra going on. So for those of you who do have your big three, Sun, Moon, and Ascending in either Aries or Libra, and then we could throw two other zodiac signs into that as well. We could throw in our Capricorns and Cancers, because it's all about the cardinal energies. That this is going to be a really big shift for you, for all of you, all of us in general, because we do have those signs, all of those signs in our charts. But those who do carry it in your big three, this is going to be quite an interesting ride in regards to shifts, transformations, and even disruptions, and bringing more balance back into your life that needs to be balanced out, and justifying that energy. And it's such a perfect time when we think about that opposition energy. This is a perfect time to focus on letting go of your fears, which is why I thought it was so perfectly fitting to discuss fear and food. And before we dive into that, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And when I get back, we're going to have this conversation. Oh, before we take a commercial break, let me pull a card. I almost forgot about the card. The most important thing, right? So let's see what we need to know before we take that commercial break. The card of the day, through our energy. It's so interesting. This card showed up earlier when I was doing the reading, and it's here again. Forgiveness. Who do you need to forgive? Do you need to forgive yourself, or do you need to forgive a situation or another person? 99 is reminding you that it is time to let things go. We are in a 9 universal energy year, so this is about reviewing the last 9 years of our lives. So there may be a need for forgiveness somewhere along the line. And it's also about letting go and transforming. The color is purple, so it is about your higher consciousness. It is about your hierarchy, and it is really about moving into this new way of thinking. So forgiveness is key. So there's your card for the day. We're going to take that quick commercial break, and I'll be right back. What a fun commercial that was. Welcome back, everyone. If you're just tuning in, you are currently watching Joanne's Healing Within, and I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. You'll have to come back and watch from the very beginning. I shared some amazing insight regarding the energy that we're in, with a lot of transitioning happening this week with our planets. However, I always like to share the card again, and I'll at some point or another come back and talk about the planets again, because it's going to wean into the conversation. Our card for the day is forgiveness. Who do you need to forgive? Do you need to forgive yourself, a situation, or another person? Number 99 works out to be your 9 energy, which is about reviewing the last 9 years of your life, which is what this universal energy year is all about. It's reviewing the last 9 years of your life. And our planets are definitely helping us to do that, with 5 planets, well, 4 planets and 1 asteroid in retrograde as we speak. That's a whole lot of reviewing. And then the color is the purple, which is your crown energy. The crown energy is really about opening up your higher consciousness to be more aware of who you are at the highest frequency. And when you learn to be led by your higher consciousness as opposed to your ego, you'll find that things just fall into place a lot more quickly because you're no longer resisting your situation. And sometimes it is really about more about divine timing. However, things just flow easily when you're not in resistance. So, bringing us into the word resistance, our topic of the day, fear and food. So, when we think about those two words, fear and food, fear, as we all know, is when we're afraid of something, when we're worried about something, when we're overthinking something, when we're worried and concerned. Now, you might be asking yourself, how does fear and food come together in this conversation? I've done a little research, and I'm not really about the science behind things. Most of the time, I'm mostly more about the intuition and connecting with yourself to really find out what's going on. But I was kind of curious myself in regards to research regarding how many women, and this can go for men too because the numbers were very close, over the age of 40 who are focused on losing weight. And whether that's through because they're looking to diet or they were told by their physician that they needed to drop some weight, well, imagine that number being about 52% of women between the age of 40 to 59 are constantly focusing on losing weight. And that could be because they're just not happy with the way their body looks, or because, again, they're at a risk of being unhealthy. So that's a pretty large number when you think about it. Now, then, of course, I look to see over 60. Women over 60 is 43%. So when you think about it, those are big numbers. A high stats is like half of the world in that age category is not happy with their body, where they're carrying weight. Now, let's face facts. Let's be real here. Our health, fitness, and wellness industry does not help this situation at all. We have been programmed to believe, at least the way I see it, for the last 55 years that I'm on this earth, we have to look a certain way, and theoretically, if you are thinner, you're more likely to fall under the sex appeal than if you have curves and thicker. That's just theoretically what we've always known about. We've also been told that there's such thing as good and bad food. We've also been told that there's also a right time to eat versus a wrong time to eat. We've also been told that how much protein we should have, to how many carbs we should have, to how much fat we should have. And we've also been told, well, not to do this and not to have the sugar and eliminate the salt. So there's a lot of being told what you should and should not be doing. So that itself will create a lot of resistance regarding your choices with food. So of course, if you are that person that is concerned about putting on weight, then what we're being programmed and constantly conditioned to believe is sitting in the forefront of your thought process to what it is you are, how you're approaching food, your relationship with food for that matter. So something that I wanted to share with you based on the fears with food. And the first thing is timing. Now, we have this new, I like to call it new fad out there, where we are hearing more and more people speak about detoxing and cleansings and intermittent fasting. Now, if you're not familiar with any of it, good for you. But if you are familiar with it, then that means you've heard about it at some point or another. And when we think about whether it's a detox or it's a fasting process, or you're going many hours without eating, I always say to my clients, you have to get to your why you're choosing to do just that. Because if your why is not more powerful to why you're choosing to do what you're doing, you're going to have resistance to it. And that's going to create some fears. So for example, if you are choosing to go on a detox, we'll talk about a water detox. I think that's a simple one. It seems to be something that a lot of people are doing. Some people are doing a one-day detox. I've heard some who are doing 7 days. I think the longest I've heard so far is a 21-day detox of just water, no food. Now, from my perspective of a water detox, where you're just drinking water and no food, what is the goal behind it? What are you looking to accomplish from not having food? You got to remember that food is our nutrients, food is our energy. So we are going that long period of time without having food and we're just drinking water. And believe me when I say you can go a long period of time without food. I believe the most recent study that I read, you can go about something they say 90 days without food as long as you're drinking water. And the question would be is why would you want to go 90 days without food? Why would you want to go 21 days without food? Where are you getting your energy? And yes, I understand the concept that if you are holding on to weight, that theoretically your body is going to use that excess weight that you're holding on to get the nourishment from. Now, in addition to using the weight that you're holding on to, your body's also going to use the muscle. Now, if you are somebody that works out, you know how hard it is to put on muscle. So the one thing that you never want to do is have your body using your muscle for energy because you're not actually eating. So again, you really want to get to that why factor to why you're choosing this particular detox. And then what is your plan once the detox is over? How are you going to introduce food? And are you introducing healthier food from what you were eating prior to your detox? Because it's really important to pay attention to. Or are you taking on this detox because your goal is, well, at the end of this, you want to see the scale come down because you haven't eaten any food. Now, yes, the scale is going to come down because, again, not eating, you're just drinking water. So, yes, you're going to lose, quote unquote, weight on the scale, but it's not essential. And what you do lose from it, because when we think about weight, body weight in itself is combined between water, fat, and muscle. So we need to pay attention to that because when you are on a cleanse and you are quote unquote losing weight for that cleanse, what you are losing is water, essential muscle, and very little bit of fat. Very little bit of fat, if any fat, because you're not eating. So you really have to ask yourself, why are you choosing to do this cleanse, this detox? Is it for weight loss purposes only? Or are you looking to reset your system so you can create a new pattern with your system? So just something to think about for that moment in time. Just for a moment, I'm gonna grab a little water as we talk about water, and just to think about that. Because it's a big question. The same concept when we talk about whether it's the water cleanse or we're talking about a detox, or even the more common ones are the intermittent fasting when you're going, I think the minimum time is like, I think up to 12 hours, 14 hours, where you pretty much don't eat a big chunk of your time. And then at some point in your day, you break that fast and then you eat again. Again, we really want to get into the understanding of the why. The why. Are you doing it because you're afraid to put on weight? Are you doing it because you're looking to lose weight? What is your relationship with food? And what is the game plan once this cleanse is over? Or once this detox is over? Now, from what I understand, for those who I know who do the intermittent fasting, that really never ends. That's just their way of life. They go this long hour time where they don't eat anything, allowing their digestive system sort of rest, and then they introduce food again. The understanding of why is the big question. Now, my point of view when it comes to food and timing, and how I counsel my clients is, especially for those who are working out, timing is key. Getting in the habit of eating within the first 2 hours of when you wake up, so you can have the energy you need to do whatever you're doing. Now, I myself do not believe in fasting before a workout because I believe you need the energy to do your workout. Now, that's another fad that we have going on where there are many people who go into their workout with nothing in their system, and they do their workout. How's that working for you? Is it working for you? So when we think about, again, this concept of timing, food timing, getting yourself in the habit of eating within the first 2 hours you wake, and then eating every 3 to 4 hours thereafter, just to keep your glucose leveled out throughout the day, which for one eliminates cravings because you're literally keeping your glucose level throughout the day, and you know that within a 3 hour window, 4 hour window, you're going to eat again. And balancing out those meals with your proteins, your carbohydrates, and your fat, that you're not having one without the other. And eating this way, probably about 2 to 3 hours before bedtime. This way here, you give your digestive system some time to rest before getting ready to go to bed. And by doing this, you're getting the caloric intake that your body needs. And it will also help in reference to helping you maintain a healthy weight and have a healthier relationship with food in itself. Because that's really where the fear comes in, is what kind of relationship do you have with food, and why are you so afraid of it? Why are you so afraid of eating? And I think a big part of it is because we have been conditioned to believe that there are such things as good and bad food. In reference that carbohydrates get a bad rap. We constantly hear carbohydrates are bad for us. It's not good to eat the carbs, especially the grain carbs. You want to avoid the bread. You want to avoid the pastas. You want to avoid the potatoes. And if you're going to eat carbs, you want to really consume more of the fruits and vegetable carbs. And that could work well, and it could not. Because again, the minute you are being told you cannot have something, in your mind, that is creating a resistance of, I'm being told I can't have it. So your body's going to resist this whole concept, I can't have this. When was the last time you were told you can't have something, and how did that sit with you? You have to take this into consideration. And carbohydrates are where we get our energy from. And whether we're having the half a cup of rice or half a cup of pasta, whether we're having that slice of bread, whether we're having the potato, or whether we're having that nice big size green leafy salad with our fruits and our vegetables. The idea is you want to have a balance of it and not restrict yourself from not having it. So I really want you to pay attention to that. Now, before we go further into more specifics regarding why we're afraid of food and how the health and wellness industry has created the phobia for us to even indulge in food, and why so many of us are holding on to excess weight because of resistance, we're going to talk about that after we come back from the commercial break. So let's take that commercial break, and I'll have more for you. Did you know we are in the age of Aquarius? It's all about finding your tribe, making connections, collaborations, networking, being inspired, being empowered, and transforming. Hello, I'm Reverend Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the founder of Holistic Fitness NY and Women Empowering Women. I'm a Reiki Master, Medical Astrologer, Master of Numerology, Holistic Integrated Teacher, and Card Creator. Women Empowering Women meets the second Monday of every month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time. I would love to invite you in as my VIP guest. To redeem your VIP invitation, email healingwithin
76@gmail.com, or go to holisticfitnessny.com. I do promise that you will be inspired, empowered, and make connections. I look forward to seeing you on the second Monday of the month at 8 p.m. Eastern Time.
Hello and welcome back. If you're just tuning in, I'm Joanne Angel Barry Cologne, the host of Joanne's Healing Within. Super excited to have you here. Our topic of the day is fear and food, two amazing words coming together. And we think about this fear and food. Why are we afraid when it comes to food? We're afraid when it comes to food because we have been programmed and conditioned to believe that there is such a thing as good and bad food. We are programmed to believe that we need to have so many calories in our day. We are programmed to believe that we have to have a certain amount of protein in our day. We are conditioned. And we are conditioned also to believe that we are not in the best body, which creates this phobia. And I like to call it body dysmorphia. And I said that wrong, so I'm going to spell it Dymophic. It's a disorder known as BDD. And what that just means is it's a mental health condition where people spend a lot of time worrying about the flaws of their body. They're constantly worrying. They're constantly focused on, oh my God, am I eating? What am I eating? When am I eating? Why am I eating? And I find it quite interesting that I think only here on this side of the world, we have such a huge focus on food in regards to what should we and what should we not be eating. Now, I know that there was a little while that the trend was smoothies, where people would be drinking smoothies, and that combination of whether it's a vegetable smoothie or a fruit smoothie, or even a combination of both. And did a little research on smoothies and found that when you're consuming smoothies, you're actually consuming more calories from a smoothie than if you were just to turn around and have the food itself. So something to think about, because you're putting a lot of stuff in that smoothie, which at the end of the day adds up to a lot of calories. Now, let's dive into the fear of food and the concept of who is it that is coaching you to determine whether or not how many calories you need to take in for your day. Where is that number coming from? Now, one of the things I love, and I say sarcastically, is when we sit there and talk about consuming 1 gram of protein per pound based on your ideal weight. Who's determining the ideal weight? And where is that ideal weight coming from? Most of the time, at least when I speak to clients that I work with, they're giving me a number that they were when they were in their 20s and 30s. And they're now in their 40s, 50s, or even 60. And it's not a realistic number for them to actually reach, which then sets them up for failure. So again, based on the American Heart Association and the Food Administration organization, the general guidelines when it comes to calorie intake for women is to keep their calories somewhere between 2,000 to as high as 3,000 calories. Now, I'm not suggesting that you go and consume 3,000 calories. I am suggesting that you consult with someone that's going to be able to help you determine how many calories you need based on what you're doing in the course of your day. Now, there's an easy, quick fix to this whole situation, and that is to track your calories, meaning pen to paper. Become familiar with how many calories you're consuming in your day to get a general idea of what you're actually consuming based on everything that you are eating, whether it's something you're drinking or actually eating. You only really need to do this tracking for about 7 days to get a general idea of how many calories you're consuming every day for 7 days. And that will give you your estimated amount of calories that you yourself need, that you yourself are consuming. And then the second part of that is that you then want to track the amount of calories you're actually exerting in your day. Now, sadly to say, again, thanks to the health and wellness industry, fitness industry, the watches that many of you are wearing, I think they're smart watches, are not actually calculating your numbers accurately. In fact, from what I just recently researched on, the watch information based on the data was actually designed for men. Therefore, the actual number that you're tracking may not be the most accurate for you. So you might be asking, well, then how do I track the amount of activity calories I'm doing in my day? I always say, rule of thumb, use the number that's showing up on your watch and know that it's an estimated number. It's giving you a general idea of how many calories you're exerting in your day. And I'm not just speaking about calories of when you're working out, I'm speaking about any calories. If you're home in the house doing your laundry, you're doing your dishes, you're climbing up the stairs, or whatever it is, you're tracking those calories to give you a general idea of how many calories you're expanding out, because you already know how many calories you're consuming in. So if at the end of your day, you realize that your active calories was, let's say, 3,000 calories, and your calories, the ones that you took in, you were only consuming about 1,500 calories, you see there's a deficit there. And now most of you will sit back and say, well, that's a good thing, because I've been told going on a calorie deficit is the way to reach my weight loss goals. I disagree. Because again, you are here right now in the body you're in. And if you're exerting 3,000 calories in activity, and you're only filling up your car, I'm going to say it this way, with 1,500 calories, do you really expect your car to go as far as you would like it to go? Your body's the same way. So thinking about that, you're using the reserves are your muscles. Now, do you really want your muscles to be used for the caloric energy that you're not actually putting into your body? So something to think about. And again, these are the reasons why there's so many people who's afraid of consuming food, because we have been misled in regards to what's the right way of going about it. Now, am I sitting back and saying to you that the way I'm guiding you right now, providing insight to you, is the right way, the best way? I'm giving you insight based on what I do for me and how I coach and counsel my clients. And it's worked up until this point. When I work with clients like yourself, it's not about losing weight. It's more about releasing the weight that you're carrying from the emotional story that you hold on to. So it's learning how to let go of thinking that you have to restrict calories, that you have to have this negative relationship with food. It's also about focusing in on what this is doing to your body, how your body is responding to the fact that you're telling your body it can't have something. The rejection that your body is feeling because you're literally telling it it can't have something. Now, you may be sitting back saying that this sounds ridiculous, that my body's feeling rejected, but you have a relationship with your body. And if you're not liking the body you're in, you don't have a really healthy relationship with your body, which is one of the other reasons why you may not have a very healthy relationship with food, and why you do have this situation where you have a fear of eating food. You have a fear of, if you ate too many carbohydrates, that the next day you would be quote unquote bloated, or or you would put on weight. Now, ideally, when we think about consuming food from day to day and putting on weight, if you were to turn around and eat 3,000 calories in one day and chose to eat 3,000 calories of any type of food, doesn't matter what it is, but you decided for one day you were not going to be concerned about keeping your carbohydrates low, watching your fat, you would just indulge and did that for one day, you would not put on weight, essential weight that is. What you may notice is that you may feel fuller, where your muscles are fuller, and theoretically that's what we want anyway. And you may notice that you may feel, because you're not used to, you may feel a little, we'll use the word bloated, because what you've done was you actually filled your body up. Now, of course, if you continue to eat that way on a regular basis, Now, I may not necessarily say 3,000 because 3,000 calories might actually be beneficial and you might actually get to see the results you're looking for and get really excited because your body may undergo a transformation because now you're actually feeding the body what it needs to have in order to get the results you're actually looking for because you're giving your body the nutrients it needs. And this is the whole reason why I come and share this information with you because I want to help you move away from your fear of thinking that food is your enemy. Food is not your enemy. Your rice, your potatoes, your pasta, even your ice cream, even your pizza, even your cookies, they're not the enemy. If you decide that you want to create and have these foods into your day, it's a matter of balancing it in and allowing yourself to have, which also helps you to release the resistance of not having it. So it's really about recreating a different relationship with the food and knowing that these foods are not going to be the thing that's going to cause you to put on weight. Excessive eating without movement is what could be a part of weight gain. Excessive eating without movement. Now, if you are moving your body, you are strength training, spending your 45 minutes a day, do an intense, what I like to call progressive overload strength training, your body's going to use those calories. And then you may end up going out, taking a nature walk, 10, 20 minutes, and then you're physically active in the house. You're not sitting throughout the day, where your body's going to utilize those calories that you are consuming. And that you will actually see there's a difference because you're no longer starving your body of food. Because again, that analogy I said to you earlier about if you're going to fill up your car, if your car needs $50 in gas and you're only putting $25 in gas in your car is not going to be able to run the way you want it to run, the same as your body. And we need to pay attention to that because we want our bodies to run at the most optimum potential that your body can run. So letting go of this fear, this worry, the overwhelm, the constantly thinking about food, 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 food. Now, I spoke on timing earlier. Meal prepping is extremely important as well. This way here you have a general idea of what you're going to be eating. And if you're not one to want to prep all your food in one day, know that when you go grocery shopping, you know that you have the food that you want to have in your refrigerator. So you know what you're going to be eating. So it's prepping. It's prepping for what we call your post meals and your pre meals. Making sure you're having something before you do your workout, making sure you have something after your workout. Right along the lines of timing. This way here it allows you to get the energy that you need to have prepping your meals. And if you know you're going to be out most of the day, you take your meals with you. This way here you're not getting caught up out there having to find something to eat that you're not comfortable eating. Again, the idea is we want to eliminate the stigma about being afraid to eat. It's okay to turn around and allow yourself to indulge. Now, a little bit more about the protein intake. And this is more common for those who are working out. I hear this a lot in regards to different lives that I listen to regarding the right amount of protein you want to take when you are lifting. And the rule of thumb based on this is really about 1 gram of protein per pound that you weigh, not your goal weight, but the weight that you weigh right now. So if you're 150 pounds, it means you need 150 grams of protein throughout your entire day. And that could be broken up. So if you're eating 5 times a day, which theoretically is what I recommend because that's keeping your glucose level down throughout the day, that means you're going to take that 150 and divide it by 5, which means you're going to have about 30 grams of protein in each meal that you eat. Now, you may decide out of your 5 meals that maybe 2 of your meals you might go for 40 grams of protein, so maybe 2 of your other meals can be a little lower. But this is about learning how to bring in the protein that your body needs for you. Why do we need protein? We need protein to help rebuild the muscle that you are breaking down when you're exercising. Now, Understand that as we do age, even if we're not exercising, we still need protein because as we age, our muscles get weakened because we're not lifting. So we still need protein even if we're not lifting. We need to maintain muscle tissue, and the protein is what's going to help the muscle stay stronger when you're not lifting. Of course, my suggestion is to make sure you are lifting so this way here you can build a stronger foundation as you are older. So the key here is to come away from the fear and worry and overthinking and constantly focusing on what you can and cannot have to eat. Create this different relationship with food altogether, giving yourself permission to know this is what I'm going to have. And if that means maybe out of your 7 days, you may say, you know what, I'm going to give myself permission to indulge on this one day and indulge on that one day. Now, it doesn't need to be called a cheat day, which is back in the days that was what we called it. When we were so strict, we would say we have a cheat day, which allows us to have whatever it is we want to have. I would eliminate that word cheat day because cheat means that it's again resistance. I would probably just call it an indulgence day where you're giving yourself permission to have what it is you want to have. Now, I would actually just utilize the word balance and just allow yourself to balance it out into your day. That if you do decide to want to have the ice cream, the pizza, the cookies, that you're having it one of those each day. Because what will happen by doing that, you're going to eliminate what's called the cravings. Because you're giving yourself permission to have it. And that's important to pay attention to. So when we think about the energy that we're in right now, planetarily speaking, because I did say I was going to bring the planets back into our conversation, and where you are in your journey right now. Every one of us are on a different journey. And what I mean by that is perhaps right now, you may be in a journey where you need more grounding. So you may need to indulge in foods that's going to help you ground. And that may be the pizza steak, the burger, the meat in general, because that's heavier. And that might be just what you need to have to help you stay grounded. There are other foods, and you can research. You can go to Google and ask Google what are foods that help to ground you. And if you need more assistance than what Google can give you, reach out to me. You can reach out to me at healingwithin76@gmail.com, and we can have a conversation. I'll get you on my calendar. We'll do a self-discovery session to help you better understand what chapter of your life you're in right now. You may be in your chapter of your life where you're in grieving. Maybe you lost a family member. Maybe you lost your job. Maybe you lost yourself in the process of being overwhelmed by all that's going on. And if that's the case, you may, in the grieving, be looking for sweets because it's called we lost the sweets of life. So you may be craving, I like to use the word desire, craving something sweet to fill up the very thing you're missing from your life. So when we start to think of it in that way versus having a fear, there's a reason, there's a psychological reason to why we're choosing, why we're craving certain foods. And we should not be afraid to indulge because that's allowing ourselves to have, that's allowing ourselves to feel deserving of whatever stage, chapter you are in at this time of day, based on your journey that you're in. No one really knows your journey. So if you are sitting, again, with a coach who's working with you and have you on a restricted diet, and that's not really working for you, again, I highly recommend that you reach out to me because what I do, I'll take a look at your astrology chart. We will also have a conversation to see where you are on your journey. Is there something going on in your life right now where maybe you do need a little grounding, or you are in loss? You have literally lost who you are, and that's why you're craving those sweets. We can work those sweets into your plan so you're not depriving yourself. And I use those two as examples because they're the easiest examples to really understand and play with. So all that being said, our topic today is about fear and food. Using this energy that we have going on right now with Mars and Libra, which will be there as of the 6th, and which is only 2 days away, and bringing more balance into your life so you're not walking around being afraid of what it is you're eating. So you can work on releasing the emotional ties to the food that you're thinking you can't have, and you'll start to see that the weight will come off because you're no longer resisting the very things you really want. So on that note, we're going to take a quick commercial break. When I get back, we're going to do a review and just share some insight to what's going on for promos of the week. So we're going to take that commercial break. You caught me again. I was dancing. Yes, that commercial is so much fun. We are back, and if you're just joining us, you're definitely going to have to come back and watch this from the beginning. The topic of the day was fear and food. Two amazing words coming together, the FF words, when you think about it. For those of you who don't know, you're watching Joanne's Healing Within. I'm your host, Joanne Angel Barry Cologne. You can come and watch this again. Roku, YouTube, right here on Facebook. You can also watch it on Amazon TV, and listen to it on iHeartRadio, Audible, Spotify, and so many other amazing platforms. So, just to come to a full circle of our conversation, remember we have Mars, the planet of action and leadership, opposing moves into Libra, opposing Saturn and Neptune. Saturn is helping you to restructure who you are, restructure your physical body. Neptune is helping to restructure your spiritual well-being. The two are working really hard to help you let go of your fears, because this is about facing whatever fears you may have with food. This is your time to do this. As Mars sits in Libra's energy, this is your time to bring things back to balance. Work on letting go of your habits and beliefs and conditioning around food, and know that there really is no such thing as bad or good food. Learn how to use your intuition in reference to determining whether or not that's something you need to have in this very moment. I always believe that if you're looking for it, you want to have it. So why not? You don't have to second guess it. You don't have to hold on a pendulum and ask your body. Go ahead and have it. Because if you have it in this very moment, bypass the constant desire of having it. Have it when you want to have it at that moment. Give into that desire and feel good about it at the same time. That is my advice to you. And then that triangle with Mars, Pluto, and Uranus, whatever foods are not serving you, your body's going to let you know. Your body's going to let you know that you don't need it, or your body's going to let you know that you do need it. So pay attention to what it is your body's actually telling you. And remember, again, you do not put on weight in a day. What you may be putting on is a little fluff from a little water weight, or just feeling the resistance of all the energy, because our planets, specifically water energy, such as anything in Cancer, and we have two planets sitting in Cancer right now. We also have our North Node in Pisces. So those planets may have you holding on to a little extra water right now. And the remedy to that, drink more water with electrolytes. Let's move into our promos. We have a lot going on with our promos at this point in time. I want to share this out. Great things happening. We have a beautiful flyer going on with Tammy with her hoarding solutions. So again, once again, to get to know Tammy more, you can connect with her. All the information is right there. And then we have, coming soon, the August issue of Holistic Healing Magazine. That actually will be coming out this Wednesday. The issue comes out every month on the first Wednesday, barring no mess-ups. And then get featured. If you are looking for visibility, if you want to share your wisdom, you want to share your stories, get featured. You get featured by becoming an elite contributor, by writing an article, by putting an ad in, or if you're an author, you got a new book coming out, let me see that book and let's shine your light. Women Empowering Women, our next group that comes together. Next Monday night, August 11, we come together and we definitely empower each other based on all that's happening. We have an amazing guest speaker who's going to be coming in and sharing her story with us. For more information on how you can join us, feel free to reach out to me. My information is all on that flyer there. And midlife transformation, just what we've been talking about this entire time. For my ladies over 40, and if you're not over 40, this is still good for you as well. This is not about losing weight. This is about releasing emotional weight that you've been holding on to. So it's not about dieting. It's about transforming your mind, body, spirit, and your emotions. The W is all about the whole person that you are, so I want you to pay attention. Great program I have going on. It includes everything I offer. For more information, reach out to me. My number's there. My email's there. My website's there. Email is not there, so that's okay. That email is holistichealing76@gmail.com. Last but not least, our next Chakra Balance Reiki Circle. We just had a circle yesterday. The next one's going to be taking place on September 7th. These are virtual events. If you are interested in learning how to connect with your chakras and also learn how to clear your energy, you will be taking home tools to play with. So for more information on how you can join us, please reach out. There's the promos for the week, for the month. I'm super excited to be here with you. Thank you so much for being here, sharing with me. Again, please share out the show. I will be back in September. Oh my God, I cannot believe we're already in August. Enjoy the Lions Gate 88 energy and all the other energies coming, and that full moon in Aquarius that's coming in this weekend. Until then, see you next time.